I'm Sam Livermore and I'm in London in the UK, and I am the founder of Share the Love Letters. We are a movement that writes anonymous love letters to strangers. We share messages of positivity and kindness and love, completely anonymous, and leave it all around in public places, hospitals, car parks, parks, all sorts of places that you can think of where you think someone might need some love. And hospitals, I started originally writing them and leaving them in a local hospital that I was attending. And that was in 2012. And it has accidentally grown into a huge movement that's now going across the country and the world, which is really amazing. Well, like I said, it was an accident. I was going to the hospital myself. I have a chronic illness. Since I've been a teenager, I had lots of different things going on, autoimmune, different sort of situations. It wasn't until I was 27 that we discovered that I had a disease called Ankylosing Spondylitis. After a good 12 years or so of different investigations, and I had then got on to some treatment and everything was sort of going okay into my 30s, and then I had a fall and it was quite serious. And my hip was really swollen, and we discovered, I had a bone scan and we discovered that I had lots of little pit holes all over my hips. So it was a blessing really that I'd fallen over, because if it had been a few more years, they said I could have broken my hip at that time. So I was off work for 6 months in that period, and I started going to a hospital group for people with ankylosing spondylitis. It's like a support group, therapy group, exercises, and I was going for a couple of years. And as I started to get better physically and get more sort of strength, I was using a walking stick. As I started to sort of get my strength back and my mobility back a little bit, and I've always been a really positive person, and I would go and I would try to be positive every week, and I'd try to look for what was good going on in my life. But the people in this group, everyone was so negative, everyone was so down, everyone, like I always say that everyone was in a competition to see who could be the most ill that week. And I just thought, this is not who I am. And but because obviously I'd been prescribed to be there by the hospital and my consultant, and one particular day I was in the waiting room, this was in 2012, I was in the waiting room waiting to go in, and I was just feeling proper crap that day. I'd been to work, I worked in a school at the time, and a really stressful day, and I was not looking forward to go in and sit with all these people that was complaining. And there was a piece of paper on the table, and I just wrote a note on it saying, I hope you have a good day, and I left it on the table. And I don't know, it just sort of sparked something in me. It made me feel like, oh, I feel good. And I went into the group, came out, didn't think anything of it. And then the next week I just left another note on the table saying smile and a smiley face. And that's how it started, really. I started just leaving these little notes on the table in the waiting room for other people, and I've been doing that for a little while. And I think it sparked something in me, because I used to love writing letters. As a teenager, I had so many pen pals as a teenager. I think at one point I was writing to like 14 people around the world at one point. Like I just loved writing letters. I even wrote letters to my grandma who lived a mile away. we used to write letters to each other once, so even though we saw each other once a week, she lived a mile away, we would still write letters in between. And I think writing these notes made me sort of rediscover that joy of writing letters. And so one day I just wrote a longer sort of message, and I put it in an envelope, and I just wrote on it, "Open me." And as I went into the physio department, I left it on a shelf just outside by the window, and I actually took a photo of it, and I've still got that photo somewhere in the depths of social media. And when I came out, it was gone. And I was like, oh, someone's taken the letter. And I was just like, oh, this is so exciting. So then I just started doing that every week. I would write a message to someone, everything's going to be fine, you're going to be okay, smile, it'll make you feel better, just uplifting things like that. And I did that for a few months. I never told anyone. I never put my name. I never told anyone that I was doing it. It was completely secret. And that sort of like gave me a bit more of a thrill as well, because no one knew it was me. Secretly, I was hoping one of the grumpy people in the physio would pick it up. Right. And I wouldn't say anything. If they did, nobody ever mentioned it, because they probably thought it was a bit weird. And one day, I've been doing it for about 4 months, and one day I wrote this letter out, quite long, wasn't even conscious really of what I was saying. And as I started to read the letter back before I put it in the envelope, I realised I'd actually written a letter to myself. So I channeled this beautiful message, and really it was a letter to me. And I was like, oh my God, all the time I've been writing to strangers, actually I was writing letters to myself. It was an epiphany, really. And I told my friend about it, and she was like, wow. And then we just started writing them with some friends. A group of friends would come to my house, we would write them, and we would go out and we'd leave them in our local area. And it sort of spread from that, really. So from writing that sort of first note to it sort of being more with friends, it was probably just under a year, I think. I'd been doing it for a couple of years, and so 4 years ago we did our first event, Mind, Body, Spirit event, and that was a situation where somebody knew someone, and and I went along, and we had a table by the door, like just by the exit. We had a little table, a group of us, with no agenda other than we're going to write letters to strangers and leave them around the events. And it's so awesome that we've grown from having a little table to having a little sort of box stand, having a bigger and bigger space, and that now we have a huge gazebo. And it's such a wonderful space that that I'm holding space for people to come and sit down, and it's a beautiful chill out space with cushions and a beautiful table, and people come and share that message that they want to give to someone else completely anonymously. People come back now. The last couple of years, what I really love over the last 2 years is that people have come back to us and said, I found a letter last year, I found a letter 2 years ago, and I've still got that letter, and I still read it, and it means so much to me. And I've started writing letters to other people, and I'm like, wow, this is exactly that. I could never have imagined that would happen, but that's exactly how I would love it to be, that people are receiving that beautiful, completely unconditional, anonymous love, and then spreading it out into the world. That to me is the power of love. That's beautiful. But when we put them out in public, they are anonymous, because we don't write the website, we don't write who we are, we don't have any kind of way, because I'm very, very conscious of it being unconditional love. I don't want people to think, oh, I just need to go and look at this Facebook page or website or whatever. I wanted to keep it very pure, like we are really delivering this message for someone. The only thing that we do is on the envelope, we write the hashtag share the love. Now it's sort of turned into a business, but a business for good. So I'm very passionate about helping the homeless. I have been for a few years. Always go out and buy hot drinks in the winter, give blankets and stuff to the homeless. Since last year, sort of autumn time, I've been making up little packs for the homeless of toiletries, and I felt that we're expanding so much in a way that it's become a business, but I want the money to go into the right direction, because what my eventual thing is, I want to build a centre. I want to build the Share the Love Centre that we can use as a resource for young homeless people. I worked in education for 14 years. I really see so many young people that have been in care come out of education and then end up on the streets because of the lack of resources that we have now for them to be driven towards something particular, if they've come out of foster care. So for the last 2 years, we've basically been surviving on donations. When we do the events, people donate money to us, and I had some postcards made some years ago. That's them up in the frame up there. So we have an Etsy shop that has postcards with quotes from the love letters. We have mugs with quotes from the love letters. And they've really been to help us travel around the country and go to all these events to share the love. However, I had a book come out just recently, last month. My first book come out. It's called 100 Letters to a Stranger. And it is a compilation of 100 of the letters that I've written over the last few years, and other people have written at events and I've taken photos of. And with the book, every book that we sell, one book, I will donate a pack to a homeless person. So in a way, it's a business, but it's a business for good. I have the copy of the book here, actually. 100 Letters to a Stranger, and it's got one letter per page, so people can use it as a beautiful, like, oracle. What is my message for today? And just hope it at random and see what beautiful message they've got, and they're all beautiful messages from the heart. But I was very conscious that I don't want it to be my primary source of income. I want it to be my source of income so I can start my foundation to help the homeless.